Hi everyone, I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. This is your weekly energy reading where we talk all about what's going on in the collective energy, the energy that impacts each and every one of us, and what you need to know about it. We use these messages that I'm connecting with, the things I'm feeling in the energy, the channeled messages, to help you to really simplify your week. This is what's going on. It'll help you to understand what it is that you're feeling and how you can make the most of the energy that we have available to us this week. There's always good things in the energy. There's always ways that we can hack this energy so that we can use it in a good way to help to empower our lives. And that's what these messages are all about. So I will go through the messages, what I'm feeling in the energy, what I know about this energy, and then we're going to dive into a tarot reading at the end where we build upon those messages. So I invite you to sit back and connect with all these messages. I would love to hear from you guys. Please feel free to say hello and let me know that you're watching. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel on the replay, please let me know. Say replay, something like that. And please, please, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so that you can be connected to the channel and so that you can see all of the messages, all of the tools, all of the things that I'm sharing over there so that you don't miss a thing. So let's dive into the messages. First of all, how are you guys feeling? How are you guys doing? I want to acknowledge that we've been in this very bipolar energy, right? Have you guys been feeling it? Do you feel like you've been going along for a ride? I think that we have options available to us, right? I think there's a lot of layers to this energy, and there is this layer of empowerment, right? It's this Leo season energy, this layer of empowerment, this layer of drive and passion and fire, all of those things that I think about when I connect with Leo energy. And so I'm finding that as I'm choosing to lean into that energy, it's really supporting me on the things that I need to be working on, the things that I know that I'm clear on, that I need to be doing, that I need to be taking care of. Because the other energy, kind of an imposing energy that we have going on right now, is all of these retrogrades. We have several planets in retrograde. We're currently in Mercury retrograde for, I think about the next a little over a week and a half still that we have left, maybe almost 2 weeks. I can't remember, sorry. But towards the end of August, like that last week in August, is when we are going to have Mercury coming out of retrograde. And so that'll help to lighten things up a little bit, but we'll still have some of these planets in retrograde. And so what does that mean for somebody who has no idea what I'm talking about? When we have planets in retrograde, they appear to be going backward. And this is meant to be a period in our lives where we take some time to reflect, to go within, to connect with ourselves, to be a little more introverted. So that's why I say it's opposing energy, because to me, Leo energy is very extroverted. So that collective energy is impacting us too. And we may find that we're feeling this pull to be more extroverted and to be more passionate and out there. And so you might find yourself feeling like you're in this opposing energy where 1 minute you want to be very extroverted and be making plans, and then the next minute you're like, why did I make those plans? I just want to stay home and I just want to rebalance. I'm feeling overwhelmed. You can feel kind of overwhelmed in this energy, and your stuff is going to come up during retrogrades, right? Like our stuff comes up, it comes to the surface not to piss us off, not to create problems for us, but to show us where there's still room for healing, to show us where we need to be doing some more work on some things. And so let it show you. That's what I like to use retrogrades for. Let it show you and let it give you a chance to figure out where we need to reflect on things, where we need to revisit some things, where essentially do we need to circle back to some things. I feel like especially in this energy, there are some things that we need to be circling back to. It might be like ideas that you had several years ago or a little while ago that you just never addressed, that you never really got to. It kind of got lost in the shuffle of things. It can be a conversation, an important conversation that you feel like you need to have. It can be just something that you got started on that you know that you need to revisit, come back to. It can be even just needing to reconnect with people from the past in some way, right? You're recognizing through these things that are coming up in this retrograde, like, oh, okay, so that's not healed, and I need to do something around that. I'm feeling called to do something around that to address it. So that's what I mean when I say it's circle back energy. What do you need? What do you feel called to circle back to, right? It doesn't have to be something bad. It can be something good. Maybe you were having thoughts about that you're going to take classes somewhere, or that you were going to research different jobs, or you were going to put yourself out there in some way. It could be so many different things. And now all of a sudden that idea is coming to the surface again, or you're just feeling that pull, you're feeling that call to come back to that. It could be as simple as you connected with a strategy for managing your money in some way, and you thought about it and you thought about it, but you never addressed it. And now it's like, okay, it's time to circle back to that, because that's coming back in for a reason. It's meant to help you. It's meant to show you. We're very much in this energy. I talked about this a lot last week of reinvention. Right? So where do you feel like you're feeling called to reinvent yourself? You might even feel like you're needing to like change something on the outside, right? You might be dressing a little bit differently, doing your hair a little bit differently, doing your makeup a little bit differently. You might be changing your habits a bit so that you feel better, feel more balanced. You may be defining yourself in different ways, speaking about yourself in different ways. You might be changing your thoughts, reinventing your thoughts so that you can see things in a more positive way, see things in a better way, or see things from different perspectives, right? There's so many different ways that we reinvent ourselves. We might be feeling called to reinvent our lives in some ways. I find there are a lot of people making big changes right now. Are you feeling called to make big changes? This is a good time to do it. This is a good time to go for it, especially if it's something that your soul has been calling for a while and you've been feeling that. And especially if it calls for you to break out of the box that you felt stuck in, right? And when I say that, the places that we felt stuck, the ways that we felt like we're keeping ourselves small, the ways that we have been holding ourselves back, the ways that we've been limiting ourselves, the ways that we've been allowing other people to limit us, right? A lot of times when we're breaking out of a box, it's either a box of our own creation that's been keeping us stuck, or sometimes it's a box that other people have put us in. And so I think that we're taking a look at that here in this energy. Where do I need to break out of this? Where do I need to do things differently? Where do I need to be bigger, bolder, more expansive, do something different? Because in this energy, we are breaking out of paradigms. A paradigm is a way of being, a way of doing, a way of thinking that no longer is an energetic match for the direction that we want to go. And so in order to go in a different direction, in a higher direction, a more empowered direction, a more expansive direction, we have to expand our paradigms. We have to be open to seeing things in a different way. We have to be open to doing things in a different way. We have to be willing to move forward with some things, to challenge ourselves, even if they scare us, especially if they scare us, right? I think that right now we are being called to be courageous and bold in the moves that we are making. But doing that, we don't want to be doing that in a way like because somebody else wants us to do something, or because I'm saying in this video that we need to do it. It's like the steps that we need to be taking, the changes that we need to be making, you already know what they are. You already feel them to the depths of you. You may just be finding yourself holding yourself back out of fear. But in order to break out of this paradigm, it's kind of like a ceiling or a box that keeps you stuck in a place, and you're not going to get a lot of movement. You're not going to get a lot of change. You're not going to progress and grow and manifest the things that you want to manifest in your life and continue to expand if you stay in this box, if you stay in the same space, if you stay in the same paradigm. So it's like being open to doing things differently and to moving differently and to allowing different experiences in our lives and different people in our lives and making connections and learning new things. I find in this energy, we're feeling called to learn new things. I've been learning a lot about marketing lately. It's been really interesting, and it wasn't something I ever thought, oh, like I want to like just like take a deep dive into this, but I've actually found that to be really interesting, and I'm trying to mix it up and do things in a different way, because I think that that's a big question that we need to be asking ourselves right now in this energy. Can it be done a different way? Or how am I feeling called to do it in a different way? What is it? I don't know. You know, that's for you to decide, but maybe it's life, maybe it's your day, maybe it's your work, whatever that is for you. Maybe it's your relationships, right? You need to approach relationships differently. So how can you do it a different way? I think that we have a lot of new opportunities that are coming in. And so it's a great chance to do things in a different way, to approach them in a different way, to move in a different way as we go about that, right? And to not let this heavy retrograde energy hold us back, because it's also meant to make us uncomfortable so that we are kind of like sick of our own bullshit, right? Or we decide, you know what, I am gonna break out of this paradigm. I am gonna do this differently. I'm so mad and frustrated or stressed or whatever, wherever you're at, that it forces you to move, because to stay still, to stay put, to keep doing things the way that you're doing is way too uncomfortable. And you just can't do it anymore. I feel like this week there's going to be a lot of, I just can't do it anymore. If we haven't already made the changes or started to take steps in that direction, we're going to be taking steps in that direction, right? Or we're choosing to break out of that box. And you might find like you don't know how to do that in this energy. This energy can be very confusing right now. It might feel cloudy, it might feel confusing, but when you have those moments of clarity where it's like, no, I need to do this, or I'm feeling pulled to try this, or to learn this, or to let this person help me with this because I feel like this person can help me with this, take advantage of it. Use that energy and take steps in that direction. I think this energy can feel very unpredictable, but at the same time, the things that are coming in are meant to be coming in to be showing us where we need to change, where we need to grow, where we need to adapt. I think adaptability is really key. Being willing to flow, being willing to let this energy guide you and show us the way. And the more that we're inviting God, the universe, whatever you call that, your higher power, into that guidance is going to be really helpful, right? When we invite that in, we feel that deeper connection to our intuition. And that really is like the GPS, the compass for our life, is going to show us what the next step is. And speaking of that, like what the next step is, I think like we can feel more confused in this energy. We can feel a little cloudy and lost in this energy. So you don't get too caught up in needing to have several steps into the future, like to know exactly from one step to the next where this is going. Just take the next step. Whatever the next step is, when you know what the next step is, you might not know what you're stepping toward, right? But it's like, okay, but I feel this call, I feel this pull to take this step. That's going to help you to break out of the paradigms, to break out of the box that you felt stuck in. So this is really key here in this energy. We're going to pull some tarot cards to support that. I also do want to point out, like, we're receiving, there's so much going on with the geomagnetic storms, with the solar flares, just everything, right? And that stuff impacts us. We feel that. It's essentially, like, if you boil it down in the simplest of terms, it's bringing more light onto the planet. We're processing all of this light, and this is a good thing because it'll support us in being able to carry more light, a higher vibration, aka feeling better, feeling lighter, feeling more positive, feeling more excited and joyful in life. It's supporting us in doing that, but it can be a lot on the body, and we've just had so much of that going on over the past few years. So we're learning how to adjust to that, to be able to hold that. And so you might feel more tired. You might feel like you need to balance, honor that, right? It's okay. You might feel like you want to cancel some plans, and that's okay. You know, I've kind of been there. I've been canceling some plans a lot, you know, the stuff that I'm like, okay, like this isn't a priority for me right now. I think that we're really taking a look at priorities. And my God, for whatever reason, I can't speak today. I keep stumbling on my words. So where do you need to just say it? I would say everything that happens in the reading is part of the reading. Where you need to, oh my God, I still can't speak. Where do you need to speak your mind, your truth, express it? Where do you need to say it? Even if you stumble, even if you stutter, even if you're nervous, whatever this is, where do you need to speak your truth? As I pull the Knight of Swords, where do you need to speak your truth? Where do you need to say it to honor what needs to be said? Maybe this is part of breaking out of the paradigm. Maybe you're setting a boundary. Like, no, like I'm not going to allow this anymore. And through setting a boundary, through setting a limit, you're supporting your expansion. You're saying, I'm not willing to stay stuck, to stay small, to limit myself within the limitations that you have set for me. I mean, fuck that, right? We don't want that. We don't want that at all. We want to be able to continue to expand and grow and become better. And once we shift into this new paradigm that we're creating for ourselves, it's so much more expansive. Like I was talking with somebody today about their paradigm, like is in expansion in terms of financially, right? Seeing finances in a different way, seeing finances beyond the boundaries of just like an exchange of time for money, and beyond that, right? Like where they're moving into a paradigm where they're making money in their sleep, right? Isn't this a nice paradigm for us to shift into? And certainly a paradigm that I am focused on here at the moment to continue to expand and grow into. But where do the thoughts need to be differently? Where do we need to learn some more things? What do we need to understand to support us in moving into that paradigm? Sharon's saying, yes, here's to new growth and manifesting. Absolutely. Speaking of that, we have the Fool card. Hi, Renee. Nice to see you on here. The Fool card, new beginnings, right? So even though they say in Mercury retrograde, it's not a great time for new beginnings, I feel like as we're like circling back on new things and we're understanding, like it feels like we are making steps and we are starting new beginnings. So look at that. Like I always say, like I work with the people who become like these soul rebels, right? These soul warriors, and we're rebellious. So maybe right now we're rebellious and we're saying, screw you, Mercury retrograde, your rules don't define me. New beginnings. New beginnings, because I feel it so much. I feel it for me, I feel it for you. And so let this energy show you what those new beginnings are, or where you're laying the foundation for new beginnings, leaning into it, right? The Fool leans into these new beginnings with total trust. That's why they call him the Fool. But it's a beautiful, innocent energy. It's like that trust that we have before we learn to not trust. So how can we lean into these changes that we've made with that trust that a child would have, that somebody who hasn't been hurt and burned by the world would have? How can we lean into relationships with an open heart and a trust to love like we haven't been hurt before? How do we reset? There's an energy of reset, right? How do we reset in a way that allows us to come back to the best parts of ourselves that we knew when we were younger, that we understood better when we were younger? Maybe the vision that we had for our lives or what we wanted to do. Maybe some of us are coming back to our roots. Maybe that's what we're circling back to, right? When I was a child, I wanted to be this, do this, have this, experience this, whatever that is. And I'm leaning back into this Fool energy, understanding that I knew myself better as a child. And forget the fear, forget the ways that I'm holding myself back. It's all bullshit. It's time to expand. It's time to grow. It's time to lean into new beginnings. I love it. Lori's saying new beginnings too. Reset without fear. Yes. Reset without fear. Yes, exactly. I think that that's so key. Where are you being inspired to change it up, to start with new beginnings, to do it differently? We have a lot of options ahead. 7 of Cups. I think this came up last week. We have a lot of options, some of them better than others. But we might feel a little spoiled for choice. We might feel a little confused, like, oh, okay, I could go this way, I could go this way, I could go this way. And it's funny, like a lot of people will reach out to me and say, Christy, I don't know what to do. And I almost always am saying to them, Yeah, you do. You do know. What do you want to do? Where's your soul pulling you? And if we could remove all of the fear, what would you do, right? That's this energy. What would you do if you could take the fear out of it? And then I want you to do your best to remove some of the fear, remove enough fear so that you can move. The rest will go after you have moved, right? A lot of life is about us doing it scared. It's not about us feeling perfectly comfortable or waiting until we get perfectly comfortable to move, to do it, to complete it, to take that step, whatever that is. No, it's about doing it scared. So what do you need to do is do scared because your soul knows that you need to do it, right? Those are the options to lean into. And to trust the rest, to trust the flow, to trust what's coming in for us, where we're being led. It's different. It's mixing it up. Again, if we're breaking out of a paradigm, we're not going to be doing things the way that we've always been doing them. Where do we need to do things differently? Where do we need to be open to different? And you might surprise yourself by the ways that you're opening. Things that you said, oh, I'll never do that, or I would never be interested in that, or I didn't think I would ever move out of that old way that I was stuck. And now here I am, and it's really beautiful. I think there's so much magic in this energy. Knight of Swords. I think that there's important communication that's happening right now, but we want to be mindful. We are in Mercury retrograde, and miscommunication can be a challenge right now. So keep that in mind. But where are you feeling that push to speak your truth, to say what you need to say? Certainly in a way that honors other people, that honors other people's boundaries that they have set with us. But where am I feeling called to express myself more, to be more verbal? I always say, I'm naturally aware that I'm very shy, but been feeling just like such a powerful pull lately to really work on that, right? Like to not let that be my excuse, the way that I hold myself back from connecting with other people in a more expansive way, and from limiting myself in that way. And I think that this is what this energy is about, is like, where are you limiting yourself because you're not expressing it, you're not putting yourself out there, you're not communicating about it, whatever, you're not asking the questions. I heard ask questions. You're not asking the questions that you need to ask, whether they're questions you need to ask yourself or questions that you need to ask somebody else. I don't know, you tell me. Next card, the King of Wands, leaning into this beautiful, fiery Leo energy. I love Leo energy. Leaning into that, right? This is about us becoming the boss of our own life, the being in charge. Like, this is us like taking the reins and saying, you know what, like I'm going to work together with God, with spirit, with source, with the universe, but I'm going to do my part to step into a leadership role in my own life. How many of us have been in the passenger seat of our own life for far too long? And it's time to step in. And yes, there's going to be times that you're going to need to ask God to take the wheel, right? But can you be in the driver's seat of your life and let God and your intuition be your GPS for where that car is driving, but at the same time, you're in the driver's seat? Taking control, taking the action, following the directions, following the turns, the twists, the turns, the direction that you're being led to take. And you might feel overwhelmed by the turns that you're feeling called to take, the steps that you're feeling called to take. Again, you might feel scared. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Pisces Moon Be My Love, Pisces Moon Be. Hi, nice to see you on here. Says that she loves the title. Absolutely. It just really captures the energy, doesn't it? Yeah, let God take the wheel. She said she tuned in when it said let God take the wheel. That's it, right? Let God take the wheel. You be in the driver's seat. Let God be the GPS. Let your intuition be the GPS. Your intuition is really just that connection to God, and it's time. So especially if that resonates with you, if you felt like you're in the passenger seat of your own life, it's time. It's time to step in, right? Page of Cups. Again, some more like, we've got that Fool, we've got that Page of Cups, more youthful energy. Where do you need to circle back? Where do you need to listen to like who you actually are, what your heart actually says? Did you have a vision for your life when you were younger that looks really different from where you are now? And is that inner child still in there saying, hey, what about this? Remember we had this plan to do this. You know, like I used to, when I was a kid, I had this thing that I would pretend was a crystal ball, and I would give psychic readings from that. And it was all about like learning about psychic stuff and intuition and tarot cards and all of that. Like I knew, even as a very little kid, that this was something that was meant to be in my life. I was doing hypnosis sessions on the playground. I was doing counseling sessions on the playground. I can remember it, right? Because little Christy knew where her heart was, what she was supposed to do. I knew. And so what did you know as a child that you have forgotten as an adult? And what do you need to do about it? Because this isn't a sit around and think about it energy. Maybe you need to contemplate it. But once you get that spark with this Knight of Wands, to go for it, to take the step, to make the move, it's time to make the move. So contemplate until you feel like it's time, and then go. Then it's go time. Then I want you to step into it. Right? And then justice. We're bringing things into balance. You may find like you've been waiting on some things to come into balance in order for you to feel like you can move. I think that this is like really for those of you who've been focusing on putting really good energy out to the world. This is your positive karma. This is good coming back to you. This is situations. I feel like a lot of things are being closed up right now here in this energy as well to allow us to start new beginnings. So it's things closing up, but it's things closing out in a way that feels like justice was served, right? Where maybe something in the past wasn't handled in a way that felt fair, that felt just, that felt balanced. And now we're circling back and addressing that. We might even feel like we need to circle back and make amends for some things ourselves, or some people are doing that with us, or a situation that felt like it was addressed wrongly, handled wrongly in the past, all of a sudden just balances itself out in some way and justice is served. Or maybe you have a court or something like that, and you're waiting on that justice. But this feels really good, and it feels sort of like this key to unlocking us, to supporting us in stepping into the driver's seat of our life, in breaking out of the box that we felt like we were stuck in. So it feels really good. It feels really important. So if you guys have stayed with me this long, please like this video. Please comment. I would love to hear from you, even if it's just a replay, even if it's just your favorite emoji. It just helps to get these videos where they need to go. And if there's somebody that you feel like needs to hear these messages, they feel really important this week, please share it. Privately, publicly, whatever you want to do. Tag them below. Subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't already. All of that just helps to support everything that I'm doing, and I really appreciate it. Some of you guys are just like so amazing at sharing regularly and supporting all the work that I'm doing. So I see some people like sent some stars today, so thank you so much for that. I appreciate that so much. And yeah, let's I see that Prakash is saying, I recently decided that I should put myself and my happiness at the forefront. Yes. Maybe it's just that. Maybe you're deciding like, my new paradigm allows me to be happy. In this new paradigm, I'm happy. I'm peaceful. My life is easy, whatever that is. But yes, this is about breaking away from the old and stepping into the new, better, bolder, more powerful, more connected to ourselves, more connected to other people, more connected to the vision, to the path, to where we're meant to go, more connected to our higher power. It's all happening for us. So this reinvention that I talked about last week, like we're in it. It's developing, it's happening, and I'm sending you guys so much love and light. As you find your way, you've got this. But I'd love to hear from you guys in comments how things are going and what's been going on for you, and how this energy is showing up for you. All right, guys, take care. I will see you soon with another video.